As the WNBA have done it. They have done it. They have officially fined Sophie Cunningham every podcast episode. They have fined her. Because Sophie Cunningham has been fined. I'm not joking. She's been fined for a TikTok. She's been fined now, I think, for the third time for a podcast. I think Sophie Cunningham might be the all-time leader in fines in the WNBA. So let's take a listen.
Imagine being punished by your own employer, not for doing a bad job, but for simply telling the truth about your workplace. Now imagine that happening not once, not twice, but every single time you try to have an honest conversation. This isn't some dystopian fiction. This is a reality for WNBA star Sophie Cunningham, a player who has somehow become public enemy number one for the league office just for using her own voice. The whispers are turning into screams, and a full-scale rebellion is brewing among fans. They're finally seeing the WNBA not for its basketball, but for an organization that would rather silence its own stars than fix its mounting problems.
Yeah, but I'm officially 3 for 3 on being fined by the WNBA.
Holy shit. For this? For the pod? Again?
They didn't like my comments on Paige Becker's.
No way.
I didn't even say anything bad.
What is so dangerous about what Sophie Cunningham is saying that the league is willing to fine her into submission? And what does this tell us about the terrifying state of the WNBA behind the glossy PR campaigns? It started subtly, a warning shot across the bow. Sophie Cunningham, known for her fiery play on the court, decided to step into the media world with her podcast, Show Me Something. She likely expected to have genuine conversations about the game she loves, but what she got was a financial nightmare. Her first strike wasn't even from the podcast. It was a $500 fine for a TikTok video where she lip-synced to audio while playfully mentioning referees. It was a joke, a moment of levity, but the league's response was dead serious. The message was clear. Even joking about the officials comes with a price tag. But Sophie didn't back down. She moved forward with her podcast, and that's when the real trouble began. On her very first episode, she dared to discuss the inconsistent officiating that fans and analysts have complained about all season long. For that honest, observational commentary, the WNBA hit her with a $1,500 fine.
She spoke about the league, but more importantly, she stated she got another fine for actually talking about Paige Becker's. Now, we all ultimately know what happened last time. She had her podcast. She let it be known that Paige Becker's got that blue blood whistle, bro. And make a long story short, she stated the WNBA fined her for that. And she spoke about Bree Hartley. She also talked about Caitlin Clark rehab. But guys, it's unfortunate that she will be out for the remainder.
It was a shocking escalation, a brutal punishment for a player just trying to engage with fans on a deeper level. But the third strike is perhaps the most revealing, the moment the league's agenda became impossible to ignore. On her latest episode, Cunningham mentioned Dallas Wings rookie Paige Buchers, noting that she got a favorable whistle from the referees, a common observation in sports often described as star treatment or rookie respect. She didn't insult Buchers. She didn't accuse the referees of corruption. She stated a basketball opinion. And for that, the WNBA found her again. 3 podcasts, 3 fines.
Not protecting their players. Nobody's going to watch this if you're not protecting your star players. You're not protecting your players, period. But particularly your star players. No one's going to watch this. People are watching it because of Caitlin Clark, and then even more because of Sophie Cunningham. And if you're going to just hang them out to dry, then, good. Nobody's going to watch this anymore because they don't protect their players. It's a worthless organization. They have no idea how to protect their players. But, oh man, they're going to bitch and moan. Well, you better pay us the money. For what? You can't even protect your star players that draw the eyeballs. Now nobody's watching. Nobody's going to watch to see the star players sitting out with injuries because of poor treatment and poor officiating on the sides. Nobody's going to watch.
She is officially perfect, a chilling 3 for 3 and being punished for honesty. But here's where the story twists from bizarre to downright hypocritical. The WNBA's rulebook seems to be applied with bizarre and selective randomness. While Sophie Cunningham is being bled dry for comments on a podcast, other players and coaches have openly and aggressively criticized officiating with zero consequences. Angel Reese of the Chicago Sky, after a loss, famously said, "The officiating has to be fixed. I don't give a damn if I get fined." And she wasn't. Las Vegas Aces star Kelsey Plum has stopped entire press conferences to rant about the referees, yet her wallet remains untouched. When Indiana Fever coach Christy Sides and Connecticut Sun coach Stephanie White erupted at officials after dangerous plays involving Caitlin Clark, the league office was silent. No fines. No reprimands. The same goes for Alyssa Thomas's on-court outbursts. This isn't about maintaining standards. This is a targeted campaign.
She has turned herself into a top 5 most talked about player in the WNBA. And can I tell you, I am loving the clips that are coming out of this podcast. There's just so much fascinating elements of her that make her this really alpha, really strong, but really beautiful, spicy villain. And I think she kind of likes being the villain.
The league is making a conscious choice to punish Sophie Cunningham specifically, while turning a blind eye to identical and often more severe infractions from others. It creates a culture of fear where players have to guess what might set off the league's unpredictable wrath, and it exposes a hypocrisy that fans are finding impossible to ignore. This double standard becomes even more glaring when you consider the league's handling of its golden goose, Caitlin Clark. The entire season has been marred by controversy over the physical, often dangerous, treatment of the rookie sensation. Players have hip-checked her, clotheslined her, and knocked her to the floor with barely a whisper from the league about protecting its players. The message sent was that this kind of behavior was acceptable or at least not fine-worthy. Yet, Sophie Cunningham mentioning that another rookie gets quick calls is worthy of a financial penalty.
I'm officially 3 for 3 on being fined by the WNBA.
Holy shit. For this? For the pod? Again?
They didn't like my comments on Paige Becker's.
No way.
I didn't even say anything bad.
On the whistle, on the quick whistle.
Yeah, but like, why? Like,
If we want to talk about Paige, here's a good question.
They fined her for saying Paige Beckers has a good whistle. Like, I kid you not, that is one of the craziest reasons I've seen a player get fined.
The cognitive dissonance is staggering. Fans are rightly asking, why is the league so swift to act against words, but so slow to act against actions that could literally injure its most marketable asset? It suggests a priorities list that is completely upside down. Protecting a fragile image is more important than protecting the physical well-being of the players who create that image. It's a worthless organization if it can't even protect the star players that draw the eyeballs. Nobody is going to watch to see star players sitting out with injuries because of poor treatment and poor officiating. And the fans have seen enough. They aren't just siding with Sophie Cunningham. They are mobilizing. Social media has exploded with support for the Phoenix Mercury forward.
There is something seriously wrong with how the W enforces their rules. And I know there's already been a big emphasis on referee inconsistencies, but at the end of the day, the quality of referees is on the WNBA too. Because again, I have no idea where the line is. Because on one hand, I kind of get it. It's normal for a league to fine you if you're going to talk bad about the league or the players in the league. Because that happens all the time in the NBA, NFL, and so on. But on the other hand, why does the league not care about its image when players are standing over and cursing out their opponents on the court? Like, where was the enforcement here? Or where was it here? Or where was it when the whole entire league was bullying your star player? And this stuff is happening all the time in the WNBA, but why is it only called on occasion? Which is why finding Sophie Cunningham every time she has a podcast seems kind of crazy, because the WNBA obviously chooses when and when not to enforce.
Comment sections are flooded with messages like, "This league is so messed up," and "Sophie, keep calling out their nonsense." They started calling her the truth teller, a voice of reason, in a league that seems increasingly unreasonable. This backlash is a direct response to the league's heavy-handed tactics. Instead of quelling dissent, the fines have amplified it. They've given Cunningham a massive platform and made her a martyr for free speech in sports. People are donating to cover her fines, engaging with her content more than ever, and openly questioning their support for the WNBA as a whole. The league's attempt to control the narrative has completely backfired, creating a PR disaster of their own making. They've turned a player into a symbol of resistance, and her fans are making it crystal clear they will follow her, even if it means turning away from the league that employs her.
Cunningham tweeted about getting fined, basically saying that she thinks it's laughable and that the league probably has bigger issues they should be focusing on. Now, WNBA officiating has faced major scrutiny all season long from some of the league's biggest stars and coaches. You can find a ton of articles about it online where they're all calling for more consistency. One of the more quotable examples came from Angel Reese after the Chicago Sky lost to the Minnesota Lynx on July 6th. Reese said that the officiating has to be fixed. She said, "I don't give a you-know-what if I get fined because that stuff is cheap and I'm tired of this stuff." You get the point. Commissioner Kathy Engelbert addressed the officiating ahead of the All-Star game last weekend. She said that it is something that the league is continuing to work on and that they are on it. Engelbert mentioned,
And from a pure business perspective, the WNBA strategy is nothing short of a catastrophic misstep. It's a fundamental misreading of the modern media landscape, where authenticity isn't just valued, it's the entire currency. In an age where fans are bombarded with polished corporate messaging and scripted interviews, genuine player content cuts through the noise like nothing else. It's what forges real, emotional connections between athletes and the people who support them. Sophie Cunningham's podcast is not a problem. It's a priceless gift. It operates as a free 24/7 marketing machine for the league, generating buzz and providing the kind of insider access that PR teams can only dream of manufacturing. She's doing the hard work of humanizing the sport, showing the personalities behind the jerseys. And in doing so, she's building her own brand while simultaneously elevating the league's profile. This is the holy grail of sports marketing. Organic, player-driven engagement. Yet, in a move that defies all logic, the league is treating this incredible asset as if it's a liability.
When you get fined, do they put like verbatim, like quote here, like this is why you're being fined and that's why it's this much? Or is it like, hey, quit talking shit on us, Venmo us like $1,500?
What happens is they email our GM, and she pulls me aside and she goes, "Come here, Soph, I have to talk to you." And this was in like front of everybody. And I was like, "What did I do now?" And she just smiled and she goes, "Hey, they're going to fine you again." They're like, I was like, I even told them, I even credited them that their job was hard. I did say that. And I said that I would not be good at it. I did say that. Like, look at the whole picture. What are we doing?
They are actively financially discouraging the very phenomenon that could propel them into a new era of popularity and profitability. By slapping her with fine after fine, they aren't just draining her bank account, they are sending a devastating message to every other player with a microphone and an opinion. That message is clear. Your authenticity is a threat. Your realness is a risk. Fall in line or pay the price.
She'll happily pay those fines. I think they're only fining like $200 or something. It's something crazy. Like Sophie Cunningham is making millions this year. Players don't get fined for speaking on one another, but every single player in the history of pro basketball has criticized officiating and fined for it. No, she keeps doing the same thing, getting fined for it. She literally said Paige is a good whistle. That is what she said. She said Paige. Oh, the Paige fans, my God. Paige fans are fucking nut jobs.
This creates a culture of fear and conformity, which is the absolute antithesis of what attracts a modern audience. Fans today can smell inauthenticity from a mile away. They crave the raw, the real, the unfiltered passion that comes from someone who lives and breathes the game. They don't want to hear sanitized league talking points. They want to hear Sophie Cunningham's fiery, unfiltered perspective. Look at any successful sports league right now, and you'll see they are running toward player-driven content, not away from it. The NBA doesn't just tolerate its players having podcasts and media companies. It thrives because of them. LeBron James's The Shop and Kevin Durant's Boardroom are celebrated extensions of their brands that bring immense value back to the league. They understand that these platforms don't take away from the product. They enrich it, creating deeper storylines and more invested fans. The WNBA, by contrast, seems trapped in an archaic, top-down control model from a bygone era. It's a system where every message must be filtered, approved, and stripped of any personality that might cause a ripple.
She literally, when I tell you, y'all, I literally feel like they are just coming for her, because I feel like she should be able to say what she wants to say on her podcast. But that's just me. That's just how I feel. Then they came, and then it came an earlier $500 penalty. I guess for a TikTok video, she was mocking the referees and lip singing. That was funny. So now I got a question for y'all. Do you think that she should be able to say what she wants on her own podcast? Or do you feel like, you know, she should just shut it down and, you know, stop bothering them with this and that?
They're literally sitting on a gold mine of compelling content and charismatic stars. And instead of harnessing that power, they are trying to bury it with financial penalties. It's a strategy that prioritizes short-term control over long-term growth. And it's a recipe for remaining in the shadows while the rest of the sports world evolves. This isn't just a missed opportunity. It's an active act of self-sabotage that is costing the league fans relevance and ultimately revenue. This pattern of punishment has a chilling effect that goes far beyond one player's bank account, seeping into the very fabric of the league and freezing potential for any genuine player expression. When other players across the WNBA see what's happening to Sophie Cunningham, the message they receive isn't just about avoiding fines. It's a lesson in survival. They learn that their honest opinions, their off-the-cuff observations, and their unique personalities are liabilities, not assets. This understanding doesn't just create a culture of fear. It builds an invisible wall between the athletes and the audience.
The amount of traction that episode was getting, folks were saying that she could pay that off just from her YouTube monetization. And so this is just interesting because I've said before that I really wish the WNBA as well as other sports leagues would lean in to the athlete-owned media platforms, because fans are a lot more interested in hearing the perspective of people who actually play the sport than just spectators and people on the outside. So the fact that they are penalizing her for showcasing her frustrations, even though tons of players have done this, you know, post-game interviews or just talked about it on the internet in general, is very
Players begin to second-guess every tweet, every post-game soundbite, every answer in an interview. The vibrant, diverse personalities that make sports compelling are forced into hiding, replaced by a monotonous chorus of safe, pre-approved cliches about giving 110% and taking it one game at a time. This robotic repetition might protect a paycheck, but it kills a connection that turns casual viewers into die-hard fans.
So the entire league can talk shit about Caitlin, but Sophie can't talk shit to Paige. No. And that's the funniest thing, is that Angel Reese can say some people have a special whistle about Caitlin Clark in a public press conference. And it's selective fining. That's the problem. Like, Kelsey Plum has not been fined this year, and Kelsey Plum has literally just stopped entire press conferences to complain about the referees. Apparently Stephanie White didn't get fined when Marina Mabrey knocked Caitlin on her ass, and then Sophie Cunningham took down JC Sheldon. Apparently Stephanie White didn't get, and Mazian did not get fined for both of them going mad at the referee.
The league, in its quest for total narrative control, is unknowingly sterilizing its own product. It's sanding down all the interesting, rough edges of its players until everyone sounds the same, looks the same, and acts the same. They are sacrificing the very thing that makes individual players relatable and memorable: their humanity, their flaws, their passions, and their unfiltered perspectives. This desperate attempt to maintain a squeaky clean image is ironically making the league blander, less discussed, and easier to ignore. In the attention economy, being boring is a far greater sin than being controversial. The worst part of this entire situation is that the strategy is terrifyingly effective. Behind the scenes, numerous players are reportedly just as frustrated as Cunningham. They see the same inconsistencies in officiating. They share the same concerns about player safety, and they are equally bewildered by the league's priorities.
Only is going to push her even more to share her perspectives and share her point of view. And that's going to get her some partnerships. That's going to get her business opportunities, because again, nobody really knows what these players go through unless you're in their position. Unless you're in that position. For those who don't know, she plays for the Indiana Fever. But I love that she is voicing her concerns. I think the only way for change to happen is for you to vocalize what needs to be changed and to have it at the forefront. And she just may be the person to help further push these types of conversations ahead. So listen, let's all support Sophia, watch the first episode. And I'm excited to see what else she's talking about, because
But the sight of a colleague being repeatedly penalized for speaking her truth acts as a powerful gag order. It's a stark warning that financial security is contingent upon silence and compliance. In making an example of Sophie Cunningham, the league hasn't just punished one vocal player. They have successfully issued a mandate for mass self-censorship, ensuring that no other voice will dare to rise above a whisper and challenge the approved narrative. This silencing doesn't just protect the league from criticism. It isolates the players from the fans and ultimately undermines the trust and authenticity that are essential for any sport to truly thrive and grow. So where does this leave us? The WNBA has backed itself into a corner with its treatment of Sophie Cunningham. If they continue finding her, they look like petty bullies trying to silence a truth teller, further alienating their fan base. If they stop, they admit their previous fines were misguided and arbitrary. It's a lose-lose scenario, their own creation. This saga is no longer just about basketball or officiating. It's about control, transparency, and the fundamental right to speak honestly. Sophie Cunningham, by refusing to be silenced, has exposed the crumbling foundation beneath the WNBA's public image. She's shown that the emperor has no clothes. The voices are getting louder. The frustration is at a boiling point. And the question remains, will the league finally listen, or will it continue to try and find the truth into silence? The future of its credibility depends on the answer. If this story shocked you, if it made you question what's really going on behind the scenes of the WNBA, then let us know in the comments below. What do you think about the league finding its players for podcast comments? And make sure you like this video and subscribe to the channel, because we won't be silenced when it comes to bringing you the unfiltered truth